As we learn more about the latest mass shooting, this one in Lewiston, Maine, we're also commemorating the lives taken in another massacre 5 years ago today. It was 2018 when a gunman opened fire on Pittsburgh's Tree of Life synagogue during Shabbat services, slaughtering 11 people inside, the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in American history. Rabbi Jeffrey Myers was in the building that day and that morning. He helped congregants shelter and helped others evacuate. And now we're hearing Rabbi Myers' personal story. He looks back at that tragic day and also ahead to the future in a special edition of Note to Self.
For more than 100 years, the Tree of Life congregation has been a pillar of the Pittsburgh Jewish community. Temple goers have worshiped and celebrated baby namings, bar and bat mitzvahs, and weddings at the corner of Shady and Wilkins Avenues, right in the heart of Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Yet I'm reading this letter from another synagogue, Rodef Shalom, because for the last 5 years, Tree of Life has sat empty since the day when, like too many places across the country, our name became synonymous with a tragedy.
Active shooter in Squirrel Hill. They pinpointed the area to the Tree of Life synagogue.
On October 27th, 2018, in a matter of horrifying minutes, I found myself in the unenviable position of being both a survivor of the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history and a pastor to a wounded congregation. But a single day does not erase the lives well lived of the 11 who were murdered in our building during Sabbath services. It does not define us any more than the tens of thousands of days since Tree of Life first opened its doors, nor outweigh all the good. Not only do the building's venerated halls hold great stories, but so do all of the people who have walked through them, and no one can take that away from us. The impact of what we now simply call 1027 is broader and deeper than many recognize, extending far beyond the 3 congregations inside the building that morning who share in our devastating loss. Since 1027, synagogues and Jewish communities have become fortresses, often with armed security guards or metal detectors. The threat of violence has left many Jews scared to be outwardly Jewish. A woman I know always looks for an exit door to pray next to. A business owner I know no longer hangs Hanukkah decorations at her store out of concern for her employees. There are people who have lost their faith and no longer pray. They are all victims of anti-Semitism in America. As Jews, we carry with us a deep intergenerational trauma, the ingrained knowledge of what it's like to be targeted for being Jewish, coupled with the fact that our fears could become a reality at any moment. There is a custom at the conclusion of a Jewish wedding ceremony in which the groom breaks a glass to signify that despite the joy of the moment, our history is one replete with sadness, and we must temper our joy with reality. And now, like so many communities in this country who have been the victims of violence, we are left to pick up the pieces. The perpetrator of 1027 has been convicted of his crimes and sentenced to death. Still, I wonder, what is justice when 11 souls have been stolen from their loved ones and communities? How do we heal? How does a faith community like ours move forward? We will eventually return to worship at the corner of Shady and Wilkins. Joy, song, and laughter will once again fill the halls when the building is rebuilt and reopened under the guiding hand of Daniel Liebeskind, a son of Holocaust survivors and the architect who redesigned the World Trade Center site after 9/11. Even with our plans, I sometimes find myself with more questions than answers. In these moments, I return to the words I planned to say on 1027, but didn't have the chance to. We turn to God for support and answers. Those answers might not be forthcoming but that does not mean God is not there. It might just be that we are asking the wrong questions, or that we don't know which questions to ask. But that is what our journey called life is about. May each of us be divinely inspired to ask the right questions, to find the goodness and the light in one another. And may the Holy One guide us to answers in this sacred journey. May the memories of the 11 lives lost on 10/27 always be for a blessing.
And Rabbi Myers also told us that as part of the synagogue's rebuilding, Tree of Life has created a nonprofit organization dedicated to fighting anti-Semitism and hatred of all kinds. And it's the point about intergenerational trauma that I think is so powerful because, you know, the past is not past. And those memories, they don't just trickle through, they wash through these future generations. And it takes a lot of work to live in a hopeful way as opposed to a frightened way or a downtrodden way or an angry way, a resentful way. And I think they're a beautiful example there at Tree of Life.